Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Safe with Jen, where we cook allergy-friendly eats for people in your life that have food allergies. Today we are making a super easy hummus. Yes, you heard me, sesame free. So not only is this going to be free of your top 8, it's going to add sesame, making it free of top 9. Okay? So these are very simple ingredients, with the exception of one. You may or may not have heard of these crazy twirly things that I've got in my hand. These are known as garlic scapes. And garlic scapes are basically the flower bud of the garlic bulb. They get really twirly around. Don't pick them if you're growing garlic and you need a tip. These will come out, but if they're straight like this, don't pick them and don't purchase them if they're straight. It means that they're not ready and they shouldn't have been picked at that point. You want to make sure that they're nice and curly. And they smell so good. There is a very strong garlic flavor that comes off of garlic scapes. And so if you want a stronger flavor of garlic in your recipe, just go ahead and use them as is. You would just slice them down the center like you would like a vanilla bean and then chop them that way. If you want a milder flavor, blanch them. Pop them in a boiling water for about a minute and then into an ice bath, okay? If you don't have garlic scapes on hand, if they're not available in your region, then just use garlic. Chop up garlic. If you want to roast it first, you certainly could do that. You could buy a jar of the minced garlic and add that in for flavor, whatever works for you. I just happen to have them on hand at this time of summer and wanted to use them, and this is a great way to do it. Also, for our friends that have a sesame allergy, hummus is delicious, and I don't think that they should be missing out. So we are making it for them, really just excluding the tahini, which is the sesame paste that you put into a hummus. But trust me, you're not going to miss it here. I have a can of cannellini beans, which is just a white bean. You can use small or large, whatever you have on hand. Simple. Salt. We know we're always going to salt our food, right? I'm using pink Himalayan, and then cracked black pepper. You don't want to use as much pepper as you do salt in this recipe. At this point, I'm going to add my garlic scapes. This easy. This is how easy it is. And then we're going to add a lemon. So give your lemon a little bit of a squeeze, a little bit of a roll. Make sure that you're getting as much out of it as possible. Now, remember, as always, you want to make sure that your kitchen is prepped for people with food allergies prior to cooking. Make sure you have your safe knife in hand, your cutting board, your bowls have all been washed down with either a new sponge or paper towels. And then, as always, ask the person with food allergies in your life if they're comfortable with your setup. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you understand the person that you're cooking for, whether it's your family member or your friend, and then there's going to be a level of trust and comfort level that comes with that. Just remember, though, that if the person you're cooking for always wants to talk to you about it and always has questions, that's okay too. It's not that we don't trust you, it's just that we don't trust food. And sometimes we don't trust the process, okay? So, so let's get to it. I'm just going to add lemon. Cut side up, squeeze it so that you don't get any seeds in. And it just depends on the level of acidity that you want. I like mine to be just tart. I think it pairs nicely with a salty corn chip, tortilla chip, whatever you have on hand. Okay, of course, vegetables. You could use this for cucumbers, carrots, it's endless. So at this point, when you're making this hummus and you're blending all of these ingredients together, it's going to be a little thick. So I add water before I add my oil, okay? So I add, it depends on the consistency that you want. I've added probably about 2 tablespoons of water here. Now, not everybody is going to have an emulsion blender on hand. And if you do, chances are that you've used it on something that your friend or family member is allergic to. So just talk to them about what their comfort level is. Sometimes food proteins can get stuck inside here and they don't really get cleaned all that well. And so either use your blender if you know that that's safe and you use that for just smoothies or drinks, things that people aren't allergic to, you can use that. Maybe buy a new one. I hate to say that, but if you know that this is a recipe that you want to use all the time, then maybe just have one on hand, okay? Blenders are relatively inexpensive. And worst case scenario, use a fork or use a potato masher if that's what you have. Just make sure that they're stainless steel and cleaned well. So what we're doing here is basically blending by hand. I love immersion blenders because it cuts out one extra step. Two extra steps really, having to put it inside the blender and then scraping it out. Sometimes that gives you a little bit more waste because the stuff that's stuck around the blades and the bottom doesn't come out. And so this is so good, you are not going to want to waste one spoonful. So this is going to take about a minute or two to blend together. You want to have a really smooth consistency like that of hummus. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to add the oil. The oil is just going to give that creamy, smooth sort of texture. So again, I'm using grape oil. You could also use olive oil. You can use a canola oil, I guess, if that's what you have on hand. But I would stick with probably an olive oil or a grapeseed. Now, keep in mind that if you use an oil that has soy in it, this would no longer be soy-free, okay? So rather than ruin my shirt and put the oil in at the same time as I'm blending, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add the oil first and then just give it a little bit of a stir with the blender, okay? And then go in again. And that prevents any spray back of oil ruining your clothes or getting everywhere. Okay, so that looks perfect, and that's easy, right? That is it. That's all that we're looking for. So you want to make sure that you, of course, are always tasting your food to make sure that your seasoning level is on point. I really get the lemon. It's seasoned perfectly with the salt and pepper. And the star of the show, the garlic scapes, definitely comes through here. So I will have this top 9 recipe on our website, Safe with Jen. Be sure to check it out, and also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Safe with Jen, to get up-to-date information and education on how to keep it simple, keep it smart, and keep it safe for those with food allergies. Thanks, take care.